What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back over here to my channel, Peppy's Point of View. And well, ladies and gentlemen, today, this morning, there was a teaspoon of snow or maybe ice on the ground, and they decided to tell us we didn't have to go into, the office today. And you know what? I said thank you. I took advantage of that. And because of that, I'm here to give you a little bit of entertainment news over here. I have some time. So I decided, let me see what's going on in entertainment. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, something that I usually don't do, and that is watch The View. That's right, The View with Whoopi Goldberg and Joe Bearhart and those ladies over there. I think Husani. I don't watch it. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I watched The View. I do know I watched The View consistently when Barbara Walters was alive. I watched it, and then after she stepped away from The View, I watched it. Every now and then. But right now, I just haven't watched The View. And I have my reasons for not watching it. I think I got away from, see, I like that word. I was about to say because the word that was I was about to say basically is a word that, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about language. I want to talk about how we, see, one another in different things like that. Uh, and I was about to use the word caddy. uh, and I removed myself from watching The View because of the cattiness of it, which, of course, catty, means hurtful in one's remarks or spiteful. I had a I thought that that's where the show was going, believe it or not. And the reason why I said I want to stay away from the word caddy is because sometimes when we think of the word caddy, we use it when it relates to females. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Uh, the ladies over at The View, they talked about SNL, Saturday Night Live, and the I think it's what, the 50th anniversary or something like that of Black Jeopardy. And their views are the views. That's why you call it The View. That's why over here we call it Pepe's Point of View. Uh, and yeah, that seemed to be had been a lot going on over there at The View. As a matter of fact, I think I really checked out on The View when they uh the way that what is that lady name? Star, is it Star Anderson? Star Jones, that's right. The way Star Jones was treated over there back in the day. See, I'm telling you, I'm telling my age, right? Star Jones was treated on The View. And then of course you had not Roseanne Barr, what's the lady name? Rosie O'Donnell. She came over there, and then I just really didn't like the way things were being done when Roseanne Rosie O'Donnell went over there, and it started to become tasteless. The View to me, but I'm not here on The View, but I guess I got to kind of build up to where I'm going because I'm definitely not talking about the ladies of the View, but since I watched The View, I want to, kind of talk, I guess, about why I decided not to watch The View. And so all of the things that continue to lead up into it looked like to me, I put it this way. It got to the point where you had a group of ladies, a group of people who just could not get along, right? And I don't know if people made it seem like, oh, well, you know what? Bad press is good press. Good press is good press. I don't know if they was using that formula at the time, but I would like to think that when uh, Barbara Walters set out to do the show, it appeared to me that they had level-headed uh, people on the show in their thoughts and so on and so forth to be able to express their point of view from their different backgrounds, so on and so forth. I think that is relevant. That particular statement right there, I think is relevant simply because of what I am about to say now, as it relates to Black Jeopardy, as it relates to things that are going on currently in this current administration, presidential administration, and so on and so forth. I want to throw some words out there because I think it's very important to understand the definitions, to know the definitions of certain words. Okay. So I'm gonna throw I don't know what keeps going on with my video. It keeps blanking out on my end. I hope it's not blank going out on your end, but on my end, for whatever reason, my video keep going out. But we shall see. I just have to kind of look back through it and see exactly what is happening. But so far, looks like everything is moving. So I want to throw some words out real quick to you guys. I think I'm able to use these words over here. I think so. Over here on YouTube. Racism. The belief that different races possess distinct characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior to another. That's racism. The SEXism, prejudice or discrimination based on sex, or attitudes that reinforce stereotypes about social roles based on sex. It can also be defined as gender based discrimination. Prejudice, preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. Discrimination, the unjust and prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, especially on the grounds of ethnicity, age, sex, or disability. And then you have the phobia, okay? Dislike or prejudice against a group of people or things, okay? Classism is the institutional, cultural, and individual set of practices and beliefs that assign differential value to people according to their socio-economic class, and an economic system that creates excessive inequality and causes uh, biases, right? I think that's it. hmm I think that's it. Hold on. I want to make sure that I have everything in order over here. So I want to make sure I'm going somewhere. And I think you guys, if you're still following me, excuse me, that I'm gonna read this again for classism. Classism is the institutional, cultural, and individual set of practices and beliefs that assign differential value to people according to their socioeconomic class, and an economic system that creates excessive inequality and causes basic human needs to go unmet. Sorry about that. Where am I going with all of this? As I've gotten older, as I've gotten older, at this moment in time in my life, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say it this way. As I've gotten older, I'm realizing that I purposely, intentionally, like really, do my best to stay away from what I would call negative, low level, toxic um, uh, things. I just don't have time for the drama. Okay. It doesn't mean that I can't deal with those things. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that I can't nip those things in the bud. That's not. That's not what it is. It doesn't mean that I lack the ability to stand up for myself. No, It's not that at all. It's just that it's a waste of time to me to go back and forth. Like my first thing is to ignore. That's my first thing. I ignore, shrug my shoulder, keep moving on. And sometimes when you shrug your shoulders and you keep moving on or what have you, sometimes people think that that's permission. Oh, you're a pushover, or I can do it and I can say whatever I want to do and say to you because you're not going to say anything. Nah, that's not true. The fact of the matter is that you expressed your opinion about something, and I respectfully decided to let you have your opinion. That's what that means. I respectfully decided to let you have your opinion. And I realized that there was nothing that I could say or do or feel that would make you change it. So if you find yourself in any of those previous category of those words, and you, for whatever reason, you are prejudiced, racist, classist, all of that stuff, any one of those things or more than one of those things, it's kind of like to me, oh, all right. I mean, if that's what you are, keep moving though. But at this moment in time in my age, I'm realizing one thing. I've been affected by those things. Like I would like to think, and at this moment in time, it doesn't matter the color or the race, the color, or whatever. I don't think it matters. I just know now I'm realizing that's what that is. That's discrimination. Oh, that's you. That's bigotry. Oh no, that's you. You are you. That's straight classism. And most people would like for people, the majority of, let's just say Americans, the majority of people, to do what I said I have done in the past. Shrug your shoulders and keep moving on and ignore it. Like it never happened. It's fine until you realize that those things or that thing that you're doing, that mindset that you're doing, affects my life in some way or another. That's when the problem occurs. I mean, really, God forbid you did not get the advance at work, right? The advancement at work. You didn't get the promotion at work, whether if it was a job promotion with a pay increase or just a bonus. God forbid you didn't get it because your supervisor or the CEO and founder of the company said, "Oh no, you can't have it. You're a female." God forbid. God forbid. And so I'm just supposed to ignore two things. Number one, I am supposed to ignore that you are uh, sexism, or maybe even racist or prejudice. I'm supposed to ignore that. That's number one. Number two, I'm supposed to ignore the fact that you did that and you withheld something from me, something that I've earned. You withheld it from me. God forbid. So now I have to deal with you and your thoughts. I have to deal with you and your denial of me of opportunities. I have to deal with that. And most people would say, "I'll just do like I do, or have done rather. Just shrug your shoulder and say, you know what, if you don't value me, it is what it is, and I just go somewhere else where someone else values me." Oh, yeah, I have that option to do that. But at the same time, if what you're doing is causing, it is affecting my life negatively, it's negatively affecting my life, then we Houston have a problem. We have a problem. And I'm not the problem. I think about it, like I said, I'm going with the flow as I usually do. And I don't know why this just dropped in my head, but I kind of tell a lot of people this. I have a background. I have a bachelor's in history. I minored in English, civil rights era, African American literature, so on and so forth. And when I tell people about the civil rights movement and the importance of why the civil rights movement was the way it was, why SNCC was the way it was, the Student Nonviolent Coordinator Committee, all of those things. What people fail to realize is that what happened was that racism and prejudices and all of that stuff was sought out by the Black community. Well, what do you mean? Those who are part of the civil rights era. They sought those things out. They went towards those things. It was like, where is racism? Oh, we know where it is. It's over there. So that's the direction they went into, or they went towards. They went towards that direction because that's where it was. Go sit down at that table and order food, so on and so forth, because those individuals are going to deny you. And that's exactly what happened. God forbid if you're keeping me from eating because you don't like the color of my skin, or you don't like my gender, or you don't like the way I wear my hair. God forbid. And I try, as I said, my best to ignore it and move on. And so as I was watching this particular clip of The View, and they were talking about how we have come, how SNL has come, evolved throughout the years, so on and so forth. And they have been the center of controversy. They've covered controversial topics. Some have gone through as being, iconic and good, and some of them have gone forward to being, what were you guys thinking type of things. So there were some hits and some misses with their skits. And so as I am watching the clips play and I'm looking at it, I'm saying, I was there. I remember those moments. And I'm scratching my head talking about how I remember those moments. I'm scratching my head thinking about the ladies of The View over there and how they have gone from being able to sit down and articulate themselves with poise, and astute express themselves. And then it has gotten to the point now where it's like, it seems as if they cringe, as they talk about certain topics, right? They're cringing. It's almost kind of like they don't even want to hear the other's point of view because they think to themselves, that's probably one of the most asinine things that you could ever say. Right? I mean, you think about it. And I'm thinking about the times and how the times have moved on as well, as far as all of the things that we're talking about, right? That's coming to the forefront. And we're talking about this particular administration, and it looks like how all of these things are being undone, right? And how we are going back to making America great again. Well, it's good to make America great again, but has this been defined? I'm thinking about, oh gosh, you never know where you go over here. I guess I'm thinking about when we was talking about Black Power, right? And we was talking about Black Power and how, people never, from my understanding of Black Power, it was never like, what is that? Can you please give a definition to that? When it was first spoken out. Can you give a definition of that? What does Black Power mean? And I think it's the same thing with With Make America Great Again. Stokely Carmichael. What does Black Power mean? Same thing. What does Make America Great Again? When you think about it, it sounds good, doesn't it? Because everybody wants to make America great again, but has it been defined? What is the definition of that? I'm just saying. See, me, if I was in one of my classes, my professors probably would tell me, a professor would probably say, that's a good topic to research, Kareem. you know, that'll be a good dissertation, a good thesis. You know, Black Power and Make America Great Again. We could talk about all of these things, these sayings, and what have you. But anyway, moving along from that. So it's food for thought. It's really and truly making you think. I give you a prime example. This is how I want us to think about this for a second, right? Let's think about this. I'm gonna use something just very general, very general. And I'm approaching the 30-minute mark, so I'll probably end on this. But I'll give you this example to think about. Let's look at our athletes and our black athletes at that, our black ones. And let's talk about our black male athletes. I don't care what age you are, but if you are a young black male and you are an athlete and you play a sport, okay? And let's just say it's either basketball or football. Let's look at those two main ones, but we can look at any. All of a sudden, it sets you out from the rest. We, as a culture, as a people, already have separated you from everyone. Just as an athlete, you can go back home into your communities and you can be seen as the N word. But you can go to school and be seen as the standout guy, right? You have rights and privileges and respects and all those kinds of things that are automatically given to you just because you're an athlete. But notice what I said, when you go back home, you're probably just the N word or you this, that, and the other. You might get additional privileges out in the community, so on and so forth, because people see you as an athlete. So you got some that sees you as a black child, right? Because I'm talking about children right now. Um, and let's just say you are in a household that needs attention. I'll put it that way. Like, there are some things that you're going without, but because you are a black male athlete, people look at you like you're going to be a breakout star. Just in general, you're going to win. You're going to win games, for the school. So they tend to support you. And then after that, what you find out is that you get older, you're still set apart. You're in high school, so on and so forth. You're an athlete. Now you're being scouted. People are pretty much wanting you to play for their college teams. You looking at your life from a professional standpoint now, because you're like, if I go to college, I could probably go pro. And for the most part, it has not affected you yet. Not really. It hasn't really affected you like that yet. Probably until you get what on the football field or on the basketball court. And then you realize that you find yourself Having people saying you need to speak up about the issues that are going on in the world and that are affecting black people. Well, no, it's not affecting me though. Or you might find yourself seeing that, but you know what? Hey, I got a family I got to take care of. I got to be concerned about them, so on and so forth. If I speak out on any particular issue that could be affecting my people, and when you say my people, I'm talking about the culture, I could possibly lose half, if not everything. Where am I going with this? It will eventually affect you. It will eventually affect all of us. And I'm talking about anybody. And I don't think we've thought about that enough. It's probably out of everything, and this is just us having a conversation, but if you think about it for the most part, because if we were in a history class and we was talking about this, and everybody would probably agree, and this is true to some extent, and that is that it affects everyone, but it does not affect one group of people, white males. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's not affecting white males. That says a lot. That says a lot. And so today, what I guess I wanted to kind of talk about was how I have came just from just watching that clip, how I've came to the realization that you know what, things do affect me, and that I can ignore them to some degree, but I can't ignore them forever. So we can talk about it by doing our skits, comedy, writing books, voting the issue. But what I'm seeing right now is that I am seeing us as people vote on issues and about issues that does not affect them. They have an opinion about things that just doesn't affect them. So if you are not being discriminated, period. Well, I put it this way. If you are a woman, but you're saying to yourself, well, I'm a woman. Yeah, but you know what? I'm not that woman. Like I'm a woman and I know women do, have been discriminated against, so on and so forth. As a woman, you know your gender, just your gender alone, there's gender discrimination, right? That doesn't affect you until it's now tied to your socioeconomic status or the color of your skin. So I don't think that we as a people can afford to get to a place in our lives where we get to a point where we say, well, I don't want to have an opinion about that issue because it doesn't affect me. So, in order for me to clarify this, to clear this up, as I've talked about all of these kinds of discriminations, right? And it went out again. All of these kinds of words. So I'm just throwing words out, just some. Racism, sexism, prejudice, discrimination, the phobias, classism, all of that stuff. Just a few words, not all of them. You may have suffered classism, but you probably haven't felt the pains of gender discrimination or other prejudices or discrimination. So you only vote the issue that bothers you, or you only have an opinion about the issue that bothers you. And since it does not bother you, you can't relate to it. And I go back to saying it again. That's why when we talk about culture, that's why it's so important. And I keep saying it again. It's about education. You have to educate yourself about these things. And you have to be truthful and honest with yourself that you have those things going on in your life. And you are one of the ones who are causing a person or people to suffer. And you need to check yourself. There's one thing to do a skit about something. You know what? It's kind of like you're holding up a mirror to people, but people are like, oh, that offended me. What part about it offended you? And the part that offended you, you need to realize, is it offending me because I know that's what it is and that's me? Or is it offending you because it's someone who's being prejudiced, right? So let's just, I end on this. I ended on this note. So let's just say prejudice. Could there have been, could there be hints of prejudiceness in a skit, in a comedy routine? It could be. Why? Because it's an opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So it could be there. Could there be a hint of racism in a sketch or in a uh, uh, um, um, doing a comedian stand up? Yes, racism could be in that uh, uh, stand up comics routine because it is the belief that different races possess distinct characteristics and abilities and qualities that you're talking about in your what during your comic routine, during your stand-up routine. It could be there. You know, when I started really falling out with certain people in entertainment, I don't know, like I said, telling my age, but I recall during a time when people would go out and they would just say go on the bandwagon and just go on their rants about all kinds of things, and they would say certain kind of things, and people would be like, we don't believe you said that, like we are not going to support you. They need to take you off the show. They need to take you off this tour. They need to take your name off the building. They need to give you back your money that you donated to, this particular organization, so on and so forth. I, I don't know if you guys out there remember that trend when it first started happening, and people that the person that it was being said to would come back and say, "Oh, I apologize for my words. They were so hurtful to that community, so on and so forth." And then people started saying things only to have to, recant or take back their words. so on and so forth. I didn't realize it was so hurtful towards a particular community. Now, the silver lining in this DEI situation that is occurring, the silver lining is that you know what, people are not going anywhere. Cultures are not going anywhere. At the end of the day, you still got to deal with it. And to me, you have two groups. The groups that saying, "Oh my gosh, we work so hard to get people to the point where it's in your face, meaning that you have to deal with it, meaning that things are going to get done, meaning that these things affect us." And then you got the other group that said, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so happy to know that I don't have to deal with this anymore because you know what? I never liked that group of those people in the first place. And the only reason why I'm doing it is because I've been forced to do it." Well, you know what? Sometimes people just need to be forced because some people just are not going to change. So since you have realized that you're not going to change, then some people just need to force you. I'm going to end on this note, and I'm going to end by saying I'm thinking about. Let's just put it to you like this: you have a business. But let's do it this way. Let's do MTV and BET. MTV is superior, right? We're not playing that music. We're not having those artists on our program, and we're just not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And let's just say BET, I mean not BET, but MTV, they have the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? Like those artists, they have the Grammys. They have their American Music Awards. They have their Country Music Awards. They have their Billboard Music Awards. They have all these awards. They have their Oscars, their Emmys. They have all of that stuff over there, right? And then with BET, they have their programming. They have the Rhythm and Blues Award, so to speak. They have the Soul Train Music Awards. They eventually get the BET Music Awards. They get the NAACP Image Awards. They get all of those things, put in place for them, so on and so forth. And the divide is now after all of this achievement and all of this success that these companies have had, with their artists, and I'm talking about, BET, NAACP, all of that stuff. Well, it's all right, but it's still not. It's yeah, you won a Soul Train Music Award, but what really did that do for your career? I mean, if you really want to make a big difference, you need to win the Grammy. See, it I remember watching a show and they was talking about marketing and promoting, and they were talking about the glass. It was a glass or a bottle that this company was putting their product in. They had it in one bottle or glass. It was a particular shape and size. And they moved it over into another glass or bottle. And because of how this bottle or this glass looked, the new one, they said, you know what, just the way it looked, we can add more value to it. We can charge maybe 10, 15, $20 more for this product. But guess what? The same amount of liquid that went into the old bottle was the same amount of liquid that went into the new bottle. It was all about how the product was perceived. And I know somebody would say, well, that's not a good analogy comparing and contrasting BET with MTV because, well, you're talking about artists who would probably go gold versus some other artists who will sell millions of copies. No. The difference is that you flat out said, we're not going to have you on the show. We're not going to play your music. We don't like your music. We don't like this, that, and the other. And I'm pretty sure that the black artists are saying, well, you know what? We don't want to sing yours. But at the same time, we want to be what given the opportunity to what to have successful careers as well. I'll give you another prime example. I remember when 106 in Park first came out. And when 106 in Park came out, it seemed like every kind of programming that BET came out with, MTV came out with the same kind. I don't know why I'm going over here on this end with this, but I recall that. You know, sometimes people can hate you so much they love you and don't want to admit it. It's kind of like one of those things. Oh, I hate you so much, but I mean, but at the same time, I can't deny the love and appreciation I have for you at the same time. So you know what? I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna mimic. I'm gonna. You see, it's just a never-ending story because you don't want to deal with some of the things that you have already going on in your life, which could be racism, classism, bigotry, discrimination, all of that stuff that's going on with you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's my 2 cents. If you made it this far in my commentary, I think it's only important for me to just go ahead on and ask you, right, to hang out with me, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, leave comments, all of that stuff. You know, it is what it is. If you're able to do that, I appreciate it. If you want to do that, I appreciate it. But my motto over here is very simple. I'm very happy with myself over here. That's why I put my behind where my heart desires to be. I'm always happy to do what it is that I enjoy doing. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing your next video. And until then, take care of you.